Detroit done through and through. Welcome back here. As you can see, Steve, I'm flying solo today. Will's working. So I kind of have to just do my thing, man. It's a shitty Thursday. It's rainy. It's ugly out. There ain't nothing going on. There's not a whole lot happening in free agency right now as it sits. I know DJ Reader's in town. So before I get going, hit that subscribe button. But I also have to apologize because I've told you guys I don't like to mock draft you guys to death. I don't like to put out 7, 8 mock drafts. I don't want to do one every day. But I have said that I only do 3, but I lied. I'm doing 4. Today is just a rainy day. Like I said, it's just a good day for a mock draft, in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoy it. What I did today was I took some time. I've been working on this for a couple hours today. I wanted to sit back. I go to profootballnetwork.com. They have a great mock draft simulator. If you guys want to get on there, tinker around, have some fun, do your own mock drafts. It's easy to use. You can make some trades happen. You can trade back. Other teams offer you trades. So what I did today was I did a mock draft with the Detroit Lions with trades, mainly one trade. I keep my trades realistic. I don't say, man, I'm going to trade up for the number 1 pick and get Caleb Williams, and I'm only going to give him a 7th round pick 5 years from now. I don't do that. I keep it real. So I get the draft going. I'm looking, I'm taking notes of who's going. Is this team passing up on a quarterback? Is this guy falling? Can I pause, move up, get the guy I want? But in this draft, nothing like that was really happening. So it came to pick 29, and I had a trade offer from the Eagles that I could not refuse. It was them giving me 2 second-round picks for pick 29 and 249. So essentially what that means is I sat there and I said, as a fan, it would suck to go to the Detroit Lions draft in Detroit 6 weeks from now and not watch the Lions make a first-round pick. But for the betterment of the team, I felt like this was a phenomenal deal. 2 seconds, pick 50 and pick 53, and us, the Detroit Lions, would be sending our first-round pick and pick 249, our 7th-round pick. So I was all over that. I swiped it up. No pick at 29, so at 50. It's pick 50 for the Detroit Lions. We haven't made a selection yet. I get another trade offer, and this one I didn't accept. I did not accept this one because I wasn't just going to keep moving back. I was going to make a pick at 50, but I did really like this offer that I got from the Tennessee Titans, which was they wanted us to move back to 106, so we don't even get a pick until like round 4. We're not even picking in this draft, so I thought that was kind of absurd, but I did like them giving us 106, a first-round pick next year, and a second-round pick next year. I want to know, I just found it interesting. It's just a question for you guys. Leave it in the comments. Would you take that trade? Tennessee Titans 106, their first rounder next year and a second rounder next year in return for pick 50 and pick 205. Let me know in the comments if you would do that trade. I didn't. I made a pick. Like I said, I wasn't just going to keep moving back. That's boring. It's not good content. It's not fun to do, not fun to talk about. So at pick 50, I stayed, and I took West Virginia's Zack Frasier, center/guard. I've done a solo episode on this kid. I really, really am high on him. I think he is the second best interior offensive lineman in this draft behind Jackson Powers Johnson, who went somewhat late in the first round. I was a little surprised, but I didn't want to trade up for a center. So I let him go. Zack Frasier falls to pick 50. That's incredible value, in my opinion. I'm getting a day 1 starting left guard. Day 1. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler at some point in his career. I think he's that good. A 4-time state championship heavyweight wrestler. This kid knows how to move grown men around and put them in places that they do not want to be in. That's what you have to do in the run game. He's big. He's strong. He can hold up well in the pass game. I think he's an absolute stud. He might actually be one of my favorite offensive linemen in this draft. And I'm not just saying that because I landed him at pick 50. I'm going to be a little bit jealous wherever he goes. I hope it's not within the division in the NFL draft. But Zack Frasier, also, we know Frank Ragnow is an absolute unit. He's a machine, but we know his days are numbered. We don't know how long he wants to play. The second he hangs him up, you can slide Zack Frasier into that center role where he's played at West Virginia. It's obviously not going to be the same as Frank Ragnow, but I think Zack Frasier is going to be damn good. And then you can fix that left guard spot later down the road. But for right now, plug and play, left guard, day 1 starter. Pick 53. So I really like this. Getting kind of back-to-back picks in the second round is something that's a little, it's a nice little luxury. So I went with Chris Braswell, the edge rusher from Alabama. I know Will drafted him in our last mock draft with him that we did a couple weeks ago. Very, very productive at Alabama. 8 sacks. Everyone wants to talk about Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold, Dallas Turner. Nobody talks about Chris Braswell. Not many people are mentioning his name. This kid's solid. Also, in this mock draft, I'm kind of operating under the assumption that DJ Reader's in town as we speak. Haven't heard any news. I think he's going to be a Detroit Lion. So I kind of took that into consideration too in this mock draft too, just so you guys know. So our defensive tackles, I think we're solid. I absolutely love Braden Fisk. But with all these D tackles and these D linemen we're bringing in, no matter how you feel about them, I think we have solid D line. We need some edge rush help. We need some edge rush help. And that's what Chris Braswell is going to do. He's going to come in. He's going to be able to rush the passer. He's going to fix that edge rush help. We're still going to be solid in the run game with DJ Reader, assuming we sign him. We've signed some other guys. I like our secondary. We fixed that up a little bit. Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis. I think we're looking good on the defensive side of the ball. Much better than last year. We get a guy like Chris Braswell, someone who can rush the passer. I think that's a solid pick, especially in the second round. Late second round, pick 61. Also, there's no more trades in this draft. I made the rest of the Detroit Lions pick the rest of the way, so there will be no more trades. So another second round pick. I just mentioned Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis. We have Cam Sutton. Why not throw a guy like Max Melton in the mix? Me, Will, we both are very, very high on this kid. In our last mock draft, this was the only player we picked the same. Our mock drafts were different. Max Melton was the only X factor where we both had him in our mocks, and we did not coordinate that. It just fell that way. We both love Max Melton. He's a press cover corner. He can stuff the run. He's physical. He's a Dan Campbell type kid. Where he would fit being picked at 61 with the secondary help we've acquired the last couple days, he's going to push for playing time. And you can never count on a corner to not go down for a game or two. We're not cheering for injuries. We don't want to see it happen, but shit happens in the NFL. Let's say Cam Sutton goes down for a game. You got to flip around Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. You throw in Max Melton. He's just kind of a nice little chess piece we can move around. I don't think he could play safety or anything like that, but just in case of injury, I think he's going to come in and compete. Here's something I don't like. I don't like saying we're going to draft a kid and, give him some time to develop. That's not how professional athletes are wired. They're drafted in their minds. They're coming in and they're playing. That's how they're going to go out and compete. Iron sharpens iron. They're not saying, I came here to sit the bench. No, they came here to get on the field. I think we can see something like that with Max Melton going into training camp, pushing hard for some playing time. It's only going to make our secondary better, guys. So I like the Max Melton pick. Next pick 73. Let me find them here in my photos so you guys have a little visual reference as well. Me and Will have kind of hinted at this kid's name. We've said it before. We have not done a solo episode, but we are tracking what he does. Edge rusher. I think he's a defensive end, maybe an outside linebacker, but Javon Solomon from Troy. If you're not familiar with this kid, looked okay at the combine. Didn't really blow me away with drills, but he looked okay. He didn't look bad. He didn't look phenomenal. He didn't break tape. But when you go and you look at his stats at Troy, 16 sacks this past season. What did I just say the Detroit Lions need? We beefed up the defensive line on the inside with DJ Reader, hopefully. You add a Chris Braswell who can rush from the linebacker spot. You bring in a Javon Solomon at the linebacker spot, maybe defensive end, depending. He's about 6'1", 250, so a kind of a small guy. I'm not exactly sure what position he would fit, but I look at his production. I think Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, those guys will get something figured out for how to get him onto the field. 16 sacks is hard to ignore. Even in college football, I don't care what division it is. It's hard to ignore something like that. That is production. We can find something to get him into the game. I don't want to say put a special package in there for a third round player, but 16 sacks, it shows me that he can rush the passer. I've watched his film. He's fast. He's twitchy. He can get off the ball. He's got good first steps, good moves. I really, really like this kid. Me and Will are actually talking about doing a solo episode on him. We just haven't got around to it yet with free agency going on, all these rumors we're addressing. once everything calms down free agency wise, we'll probably have to somehow get together and do an episode on Javon Solomon, because I know he's high on him. I'm high on him. We need to talk about him more in depth. But there you guys go. Javon Solomon, do a little homework on him. Look him up on YouTube after you subscribe. Check him out. I don't think you'll be disappointed with his tape. Next. This is kind of where we're getting into it, guys. This is kind of where we're trying to find gems. I'm trying to find guys that I'm familiar with, guys that I've watched a little bit, guys that I remember at the combine. This is a name a lot of you will know. It's a position of need, kind of. I took Luke McCaffrey with pick 164. Pick 164. Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother. Familiar with him. His brother Dylan McCaffrey played at Michigan for like 2 years, transferred out to go play college football with his dad out in Colorado. So we're familiar with the McCaffrey family, mainly Christian McCaffrey, running back for the 49ers, still broke our hearts, NFC Championship game, not over it. His brother Dylan was supposed to be the next big quarterback coming to Michigan. Didn't pan out. For some reason, we went with Shea Patterson. But whatever. Luke McCaffrey coming out of Rice. Very, very productive at Rice. 71 catches, 992 yards, 13 touchdowns. That's productive. It's Rice. I understand. They're not going against Alabama's or Georgia's or anything like that. I get it. I'm well aware. 13 touchdowns is hard to get in college. He's got great athleticism. Now, I can already foreshadow and see the comments coming of, well, we need an X receiver. You're right. I'm not going to argue with you guys. I do think we need an X receiver as well. But I really like Luke McCaffrey. He is in this draft class, route running alone, I think he's in the top 5. I think Ladd McConkey is probably the top dog when it comes to purely route running. Luke McCaffrey's probably in that category. If you go and watch his combine stuff, it was mostly for quarterbacks, but when they're running routes and the quarterbacks are throwing to him, watch Luke McCaffrey's feet. He is very, very good with his feet. They're very smooth. He's not clunky. He's not stomping when he gets in and out of his breaks. He's got great hands. One thing I hate doing more than anything in the world sometimes is comparing a college kid who is very, very unproven to a professional football player that a lot of people are familiar with. But I will say this, Luke McCaffrey and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the same team running routes at a high level for Jared Goff, who we question his arm strength a little bit. I think Luke McCaffrey could really, really benefit from being mentored by a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not comparing him to anyone. I'm not putting Luke McCaffrey and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the same breath. I'm saying they have some similarities. Luke can grow. Why not learn from one of the league's best route runners? That's all I'm saying. Really like him. High production guy. But ESPN has him listed as 6'2", almost 200. You know, ESPN kind of jacks the numbers up a little bit, so I don't have his combine card in front of me. So he's probably somewhere in that 6'1", 6'2" range. So he's not an X receiver, guys. I get it. That's what the Detroit Lions need. That's what we want. I'm with you. But at this pick, 164, Luke McCaffrey feels like a steal to me. 2 more picks in this draft, guys. 2 more picks. Pick 201. What I did was I went out and I got a kicker. Joshua Carty, kicker, Stanford. It's not sexy. We need a kicker. I know we just re-signed Michael Badgley, the Money Badger. I'm sorry, not the Honey Badger. That's Tyrann Mathieu. But we need a kicker. Dan, kicker. Learn how to use them. They give you points. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move on. Pick 205. Kicker's not a sexy pick, guys. He's probably got the best leg in college football. He's one of 2. So take your pick. I don't know. I'm not going to go fully in depth on a kicker. Pick 205, final pick of the draft. I had to stay kind of somewhat local. I took Eric All, tight end. Is tight end a huge position of need? No, it's not. We lost Brock Wright. We lost Shane Zylstra. We were bringing in Zach Ertz off of pretty much the couch to be on the practice squad in the NFC Championship game. He didn't even play. I don't think Eric All is going to be a Hall of Famer, Pro Bowl player. It's a 7th round pick. He's 6'5". He can catch. He can run. He comes from the University of Michigan. We're very familiar with them. You play tight end at the University of Michigan, you know how to run block. He made some big catches. If you remember the catch against Penn State a couple years ago, it's kind of the difference maker in the game. He scored the game-winning touchdown, streaked down the sidelines on a little crossing route, took it to the house. Eric All is a nice tight end. Transferred from Michigan to Iowa, where they did not have an offense. He transferred to be with Cade McNamara, his boy, with the whole J.J. McCarthy situation. He wanted to be with someone he was loyal to in Cade McNamara, so he followed him. Didn't really do much at Iowa, but if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan, you're very familiar with the name Eric All. Big physical tight end. He can run block. You don't go to the University of Michigan the last 5-6 years and not know how to run block, even as a wide receiver. So a tight end down there in the trenches, he can block, he can get separation, he can run, he can catch, he can do a lot of good things. 7th round pick for some depth. I talked about the injuries. I personally see Eric All probably in this situation, if he's drafted, probably most likely ending up on the practice squad. I don't think we're ever going to carry 4 or 5 tight ends on this team. We bring him up, emergency situations like we ran into in the NFC Championship game. You plug him in there, problem solved. Don't have to worry about signing a player like Zach Ertz. Not to hate on Zach Ertz. I liked the pickup. Didn't even get to play. I was kind of disappointed. I think he could have been a nice little piece in the NFC Championship game, but that's water under the bridge. So, guys, there it is. Here it is, my final mock draft. All the picks right there. You can see those are the players I selected. The first 2 up top are from that trade I mentioned in the beginning with the Eagles, so that's why it has that little circle and arrows around it. I did not force those trades. The Eagles gave me those picks, 50-53. I like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Grade it. Give me an A+. Probably I really like this draft. Give me an F. Maybe I failed. Drop the bag completely. I don't know. Leave some comments down below. Let me know some players you're looking out for. Hit that like button. Leave some comments. And if you're new to this channel, guys, subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Let me know how you're feeling. Try to have a good rest of your Thursday, even though it's shitty out and raining. Me and Will will be back later with some more content. We're waiting on that DJ Reader news, guys. Have a good Thursday.